I've always been really passionate about my career. I work in heritage and museums. But it's not a straightforward career. It's not something that you can go out and do and come home and shut the door on. So in terms of how PKU has affected it, it's affected it because I've had to be even more organised, because sometimes my working hours are quite strange. And I'm aware that PKU has affected sometimes my planning skills. And the work that in many ways, I'm naturally quite good at, but I'm also a little bit find challenging, is that I deliver education projects for museums, which requires a lot of planning because they're often things that have not been done before, and I'm looking at budgets as well as all the contacts and stakeholders. And I got to a point where people around me and my peers in that sector were making their way up to museum management, and I've pretty much been left at project delivery level. This might be because of the kind of person I am. I like working with people anyway, but there have been opportunities which were not presented to me in terms of applying to go up the ladder, and I felt it's been because of the way that I run my ship, as it were. I've had bosses that have said to me that you're really bright and really creative and all that nice things, but you can't organise yourself. Do you know how to write a list? Do you know do you have a diary? And yes, I do. But it's hard to explain when you've got things like brain fog. You have a single thought about how to make something better in your life. It goes so far, and then your brain forgets to pick it up again. So my career's been good, and I've had some good references from people, but they know where my limits lie, and I do think it's because of PKU. So for 25 years, I've struggled with various mental health issues, some which have been mild, but some have been really extreme and have left me feeling lonely and isolated, depressed, extremely anxious, and at some points thinking I was going to die of imaginary diseases, all around anxiety-related concerns. It's been a real struggle, and I feel it's been an unnecessary struggle, because had I recognised at that age that my mental health was being affected directly by what I was eating as a symptom of PKU, then I could have changed that situation and not struggled for quite so long. As a result, I now believe that PKU clinics should be asking patients directly, and how is your mental health? Do you feel sad? Do you feel depressed? Are you anxious about something? And I would also encourage patients to be as honest as possible about how they're feeling, because they could break a cycle. I would also encourage parents of teenage patients and teenage patients to stick to their diet as best they possibly can, so that they don't go through what I had to go through, because I do consider those years to be slightly lost to me.